subscribe. Tariq Radio. Like and subscribe.
Multiple police officials and a businessman were arrested accused of running an immigration fraud scheme.
Investigators say that scheme led to hundreds of foreign nationals illegally getting visas. News 2's Alexis Maroney breaks down how this case is unfolding.
Investigators say they don't want the public's trust to waver. Instead, they say the arrest should show their dedication to statewide transparency. Last summer, investigators started tracking what seemed like a high number of armed robberies.
I've never seen anything quite like this.
Many of the victims listed were not from Louisiana.
In fact, the armed robberies never took place, and those listed in the applications were never victims of crime.
According to arrest documents, for 10 years, false police reports were being made by this group of police officials. Oakdale Police Chief Chad Doyle, Marshal Mike Slaney, Forest Hill Police Chief Glenn Dixon, and former Glenmora Police Chief Tebow Onicia.
99.9% of law enforcement is good. We do a great job. We go there, work every day. We get up. We do what we're supposed to do. For whatever reason, the lure of money or whatever it is that leads them to do the wrong thing, don't do it.
The fake reports were used by foreign nationals to apply for U visas, a type of visa reserved for victims of crimes. In this case, crimes that never happened.
False visas can facilitate illegal activities in the United States, including financial crime, crimes of violence, narcotics, human trafficking, etc.
The indictment says the owner of a Subway in Oakdale, Chandrakant Patel, paid the officers $5,000 for each false report.
We expect law enforcement officers to protect the public and to honor their trust, not to sell that trust and the honor of their badges for personal gain.
After collecting years of evidence, investigators made 2 arrests at the Crowne Plaza Hotel while they were attending a police chief's conference. The group is facing dozens of counts, including mail fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit visa fraud, and more charges are possible. Court dates for the individuals have not been set just yet, but I'm being told court appearances will happen in Alexandria. In the newsroom, Alexis Maroney, WBRZ News.
All right, we are in the building. We are in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause for you. Thank you guys for coming in on the tap in. We are ready to chop up that great, phenomenal game as we always do, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to have you in here. If you guys can hear me, give me a nice thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up, my good folks. And I would like for you guys to give me a retweet. That would be absolutely phenomenal. Excuse me. And while you guys are retweeting, you know what I have to do. You know I got to shout out some of the regulars, and people are getting up in here real fast, real quick, real heavy. And let me shout you guys out real quick. It ain't going to take long. We got OG Control, Esco, Mickey, Javen. We got Whitney. We got Cutie on duty, Moss, Khalif, Reba, Zuri, D-Day. We got Sheena, Hakeem, Percy Earl, Tierra Dynamite, High C, Stones, Jalan. We have Iconic Judy. We have Rhonda, Patty Cake. We have Sweets. We have Tia. We have Ernez. We have the Black Republican. We have Ty Powell, Noel. We got Miss Skyline, Clout. We got Stephanie, and we got Hoodoo and Sud JG in the building. There it is. See, that wasn't too bad. There we go. Much respect to you guys. Respect to the law. Respect to the law. And we're going to get the calls in early, ladies and gentlemen, so get your questions ready. Grinds TV, I see you, player. First story we got to talk about. There's a story, family, coming out of Louisiana with some of these immigrants. There's this guy, I think he's an East Indian immigrant. He was a business owner down there in Louisiana. He owned a Subway store, the sandwich shop. And I think he might have owned some other things, I'm not sure. But what they did down here in Louisiana, this was in Shreveport, they had a racket going on. And I think they had this same racket going on in Chicago. And they got it going on in other cities, by the way. So, and I've talked about this before. What's up, Nikki the God? I see you. I talk about how some of these immigrant groups come in and they got a U visa scam going, and it involves them being victims of crimes. If you are a victim of a crime, if you are here as an immigrant, even if you're illegal, if you are a victim of a crime, you can get a U visa and get a fast track to citizenship. So that's like a little loophole in the immigration thing. So what a lot of these folks do, family, they'll come over here and say some black person robbed them. Oh, some black person jumped on them. They come over here, throw us under the bus, and then go get a U visa. Now, this one took it to a whole different level. Down there in Louisiana, they had some police officers that were being paid off to go along with the program. Excuse me. One of the news reports says 3 current and former Louisiana police chiefs are federally charged in a visa fraud scheme. Prosecutors said immigrants seeking a U visa would contact Shadrakant Patel, and he would pay law enforcement to write false reports listing them as being crime victims. Now, a federal grand jury, they just had a 62 count indictment against these folks. So the police, they would give the cops like $5,000 in exchange for them to file a false report. You understand? So they had a whole little systematic racket going on. And the Patel guy, they got him for 1 count of bribery, 24 counts of mail fraud, 8 counts of money laundering. So yeah, they're doing a lot of splaining. The cops down there like, oh, all our cops ain't bad. Oh, there's some bad apples here, bad apples there. But yeah, that U visa, non-immigration status visa, that's for victims of certain crimes who help law enforcement or government officials investigate the crimes. And part of that application process, it includes a signature of an authorized official, a law enforcement agency, confirming that the person was a victim of a qualifying crime. So these people would pay this Patel guy. He had a little network. We always talk about these little scams these immigrants come over with. They have all types of little scams. All that I came over with $2 and pulled myself up by hard work. Man, stop that. And FBA family, we shouldn't let these folks get away with these lies. There's all types of little scamish ass networks, and then we get thrown under the bus with their scams. So you had all these other immigrants, they had a plug. This Patel guy was their plug. So they go to him, get a bag to him, and they go around here saying that some black person then robbed him, some kind of armed robbery. And he would go to these cops that he was clicked in with, and that's another thing. We got to watch that because people always say, well, if the police pull me over, well, they know, see, y'all have little slick deals with the police. Yeah. Y'all got all types of little slick deals with these cops. So these cops would write these false reports naming the victims of these armed robberies. And Shreveport, that's a lot of black folks down there. So they were throwing black folks under the bus. And other folks in law enforcement, they started to look at the unusual concentration of armed robberies. And they noticed that all these armed robberies of people who ain't even from the city. So just a pattern that didn't look right. Now, how are all these people getting robbed? And they probably were asking their snitches what was up and couldn't find nothing. Because, they got snitches on the street. They got snitches on the inside. So they were probably asking, hey, did such and such, did you hear about whoop-de-whoop getting robbed? And like, nah, no. So they kind of had to put 2 and 2 together. Yeah. So family couldn't have delineated soon enough. Because you got these non-FBAs, these immigrants who come over, and what they do, they weaponize anti-black racism for personal gain. These folks know if they come over here and blame black folks and say a black person tried to rob them, in a lot of cases, they'll automatically be believed, especially when you got corrupt cops on the take. And there's already that anti-black bias here. So they knew how to come over and exploit that for their own immigration status. Yeah. And these filing false reports against us and these non-existent black criminals, that already reinforces these stereotypes of us being inherently criminal. And that could have led to some wrongful arrests, by the way. That could have really went bad for us. And again, that leads to these crime statistics being high and we being blamed for them. And it's non-existent. It's black folks who don't even exist getting blamed for crimes that nobody really did. You see what I'm saying? And just the fact that U visa, it can be used as a loophole scam. Because see, that visa, it was designed to really protect victims of real crimes, not to be used by these immigrant hustlers staging fake robberies and bribing dirty cops and all that stuff. Excuse me. Meanwhile, the ironic thing, us foundational Black Americans who are the victims of real systematic abuse, we don't get no protection at all. And we're foundational here. See, this is why we start prioritizing what's needed for us, ladies and gentlemen. We got to stop letting these folks use foundational Black Americans as stepping stones. Criminalizing us, you use those stereotypes against us so you can get a stepping stone in the country here. It's opportunistic parasitism. We got a lot of parasites out here. And here's the thing, we got to understand these scams would not have worked without that inherent anti-black law enforcement bias, because again, we're not going to let the cops off the hook. They were in on the scam. This shows you how rotten and corrupt many of these police agencies are. Yeah. And these immigrants, just the fact that they can pull these little scams and get elevated at our expense, that's a problem. That is a major problem. They can come in fresh off the boat while we're already over policed, over incarcerated, economically locked out. They can come over here with their little systematic scams and then get rewarded with legal status, business grants, political clout, after blaming us for doing something to them. Yeah. See, little scams like this, that adds fuel to a lot of that anti-black legislation. See, these false crime reports, that inflates the crime stats in our communities. And then what does that do? That leads to harsher policing, more surveillance, tougher sentences, all of these things that disproportionately impact foundational Black Americans. So this is not like a victimless crime. We were the ones victimized by this. That's why, man, do not be ashamed to delineate. We don't need to be clicked in with that. People keep trying to shame us because we're delineating. We don't want to be around parasitic scammers. We're not saying everybody who comes over here is on that, but too damn many. Y'all got too many damn scam networks, and then y'all start throwing us under the bus and then act confused why we don't want to be on some kumbaya minority coalition when it's convenient for you. I don't want nothing to do with it, none of that bullshit. Because this is a form of ethnic undermining. This is not just isolated crime. See, this is a part of a strategy of racial displacement. See, with these non-FBA groups, they come in and gain resources, status, citizenship, and they scapegoat us and quietly try to wipe us up out of here while disguising some minority solidarity. Because listen, let me tell you something. If the roles were reversed, it'd be a national crisis. If a group of foundational Black Americans We're out here filing fake police reports on immigrants and bribing cops. Man, it'll be a stop immigrant hate crime bill. It'll be all types of legislation and media frenzies. See, they get real quiet when we're the brunt of these little tether scams and all that stuff that happens. And we ain't supposed to say nothing if we call it out. Well, that too wrong don't make it right now. No, we need to loudly call that stuff out and delineate from it and protect ourselves, protect our lineage, protect our families. That ain't cool at all. You see. What's up, Empress? We got a lot of folks in here. Damn, we got a lot of folks in here already. Let me let some of y'all up in here. Look like y'all want to get on early. Let's get Reese in here. Reese, hop on, Reese. Mr. Reese, brother Reese, hop on in, man. And Mr. Reese ain't saying
Brother
there.
Tariq, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Reese. How are you?
Man, listen to me, brother. I've been a long time listener, fifth time caller. We spoke a couple times when you was on Mac Lessons Radio some years ago.
Oh wow.
Met you twice in Chicago at a meet and greet and at the Culture Connection. But I've been waiting 5 years to tell you this story, man. Excuse my language.
Go ahead.
So I worked psych unit at this place called Loretto Hospital for like 10 years. And I work with a lot of Africans. A lot of Africans work in the in the medical field. Like
Yes.
it's creepy. Like one of them get in, and then it's like a flood of them just come in after that. No
Mm,
disrespect to none of them.
mm,
Kilon Chalet to all the Nigerian brothers here. They taught me a little bit when I was there. I taught them a little bit. But I'm telling you this story about what happened in 2020. I've been waiting 5 years to tell you this story. So is during the George Floyd riot thing that they had, I kind of was looking at it like, okay, something's kind of janky about this. So there's a corner store on my block, and everything was going on. We watching the news, nothing is happening on our block at this corner store, or whatnot. But then me and my neighbor, we see this black Trailblazer. I want either a Trailblazer or a Suburban pull up in front of my house. Now, mind you, I live in Roseland, which is pretty much the hood in Chicago.
mm-hmm.
And in this black truck is this white lady with these dark glasses on, and she's looking in her rear view mirror. And in the rip, and she hops on her phone and calls somebody. No more than 3 minutes later, it's a car full of like dread. Now I know a African hairliner when I see one.
Mm,
I ain't the smartest dude on the planet, but I know one. I know it when I see it. About four of them hop out of these cars, and they got the appropriate tools to snatch the windows, the metal bars off the windows to break in the stores.
damn.
So now I'm looking at the my neighbor, and he looking at me like, dude, let's see what this white lady got going on. So as soon as we get off our porch and walk towards her, she notices us, drops the phone, and skirts off real fast. Call the police. Police didn't answer nobody's calls. About an hour later, now they seen the ATF or whoever it is in with these assault rifles, but everybody then looted up the store and then left by now. And I'm like, I know for a fact that these wasn't no FBAs that broke in this store, because our neighborhoods was like sacred to us. Like we hung out and kicked it at the corner store, the barber shop next to it, the nail salon. Like that was our little strip right there.
Mm-hmm.
But when that lady pulled up, and whoever she called, they were there no more than 5 minutes later. No more than that.
Wow.
This is the day that they did the little George Floyd riots that I believe was a setup. But
Yo,
that's just me.
yeah,
That's me.
yeah. That sounds like there was some kind of little network where the white folks was orchestrating it. Yeah, it sounded like they had some little scam network, some little robbery crew, some little robbery network. Yeah, because yeah, we're not a part of none of those little systematic networks of criminality. We're just not. But a lot of these foreigners are. A lot of them are clicked in with systematic scam entities, man. It's real deep. And then folks get to pointing the finger at us about crime and black crime. Nah, see, we got to stop letting people run that game. See, people dump all that crime on us, and we have to stop that nonsense. Because, like I said before, there is no such thing as black crime. We don't have a network of criminality. We don't have a universal or a centralized network of criminality, nor do we have a unified network of black folks who co-sign criminality. We don't have it. Other groups do. That's how they get up. That's how they come over here. They got little passport scams, visa scams. It's a whole network of them. We don't have nothing like that. You understand? We don't have nothing like that whatsoever. Black crime, there's no such thing. I always tell people, there's no such thing as black crime. We only have individuals who happen to be black committing a crime. There's a real big difference. The term black crime, that implies that criminal behavior is somehow inherent to blackness. That is scientifically false, structurally false. It's rooted in racist pseudoscience. See, that's why when these white dudes go out here and do mass shootings every other week, they get treated as individuals. They are never represented as white culture. And that's the same framework that's going to apply to us. These incidents are random, they're not ideological. If some knucklehead, dusty dude decides to go rob a store, that ain't got nothing to do with no other black person. Nobody's co-signing that, and nobody's controlling that, and nobody's sanctioning it. See, all of these things in black society, the criminality is decentralized. There's no central criminal element like that. There's no organized acts backed by any type of institutions. You know? I call them decentralized criminal events, just spontaneous acts. There's no structured backing, no hierarchy, no ideological mission. There's no nationwide black mafia. There's no big crime syndicate. There's no big national black underground. There's no financial networks that supports these actions. It's just not. It's hyper-local disputes and retaliatory acts. It ain't part of no broader scheme or nothing. But they do this Jedi mind trick that we're all supposed to be somehow responsible for some knuckleheads fighting over a crack pipe in an alley in Detroit that ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. Yeah. And here's the thing. Most of us, we condemn those crimes. We don't like criminality. Most black Americans, most foundational black Americans, we oppose crime like that. We oppose dustiness. We don't like that. You look at every poll, community gathering, grassroots movement, most of black society, you look down on all that stuff. And then a lot of times we got to um, take action in our own hands to stop it. But there are no black institutions funding or endorsing or facilitating any kind of crime. See, white supremacist networks, they have financial backers. They have fundraisers, all types of stuff, militias. They have a whole system of backers. Now, on the flip side, there's no black people and no black institutions funding no criminality. Most black institutions are super damn legitimate. You gotta be, because you know you're gonna be looked at anyway. So all of our institutions generally are super legit. So there's no black church funding no crimes. There's no museums, black museums, or black nonprofits, or black political parties, or black activist networks co-signing or funding any type of violence. And if anything, most black institutions overwhelmingly condemn these acts. We got to stop letting people run the Jedi mind trick on us. Yeah. Miss Velasquez, I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Miss Velasquez.
Can you hear me, Brother Tariq?
Yes, ma'am. How are you, dear?
I'm doing good. I wanted you to see something that I put in the comments. I got it from Auntie Audra. I don't know if you've met her before, but she was the one that kind of gave us all the information about Butch Ware from the Green Party. anyways,
Oh yeah, what's up with him?
yeah, you might want to look at that. So the thing that I received from her is that he had said Black people that weren't fighting back against the raids or protesting against the raids were, I can't remember the first word, but I do remember Uncle Ruckus.
Wow, wow.
I can't remember the
Eh,
first part of that, but that's actually a tweet. She actually had screenshot it and sent it to prospective people that were, wanting to speak to him in the Black media to let them know this is what he said about us because we weren't out protesting.
Wow.
But what I had put in the comments is it was something on the AU page, so the African Union page, um, concerning the year of 2025 being the year of reparations. And I think you might want to look at it and others in the Black media. Um, it's very interesting. And then there was a mention about the diaspora in regards to Black Americans and others being the sixth region of Africa.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
so I know normally, like I've worked with nonprofits and, working with government in regards to funding. And I know normally when you have a setup like that, it's a setup in regards to getting resources later on.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking into that. I'm gonna have to do a whole broadcast about that. But yeah, that Butch dude, wasn't he like running with Jill Stein? He was like her.
Yeah. So a really close friend of mine, Auntie Audra, she was actually the one that got him interfaced with Jason Black to do the interview.
Okay.
And I think Jason kind of sniffed him out because the interview did not go well. The interview with Jill Stein went well, but the interview with Butch did not. Um, but when everything started just recently, um, he made the comment that if you're not out here on the streets, um, I want to say maybe it was treacherous, but I just know there was a word ahead, and then it said
Isn't he real big?
Uncle Burgess Coon.
Isn't he real big on pushing LBGT stuff too? From what I understand.
He got put back from the Jason Black interview because he made a comment in regards to girls' sports, and the LGBT community came for him the very next day. Not even, I would say, actually within hours. It wasn't the next day. It was, within like that early that next morning.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah,
Oh,
I don't know, but yeah.
okay. So yeah, they're yanking his chain. So
Oh
he's one
yeah.
of them. Okay.
And
There you
then
go.
you had that one.
Oh, go ahead, dear. Mm-mm. Well, what happened? Oh, I don't know what happened, Miss Velasquez. I don't know what happened. You were speaking, then did you mute yourself? I want to get you back on. There you
Wait,
go.
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So you had shared the link about that the Caribbean woman that wanted to crowbar her way into FBA. She was using the whole talking point about the stops. It's just different stops or whatever. And so I had to comment because I have FBA lineage, but I do also have Haitian and Puerto Rican and Cuban lineage. It's much smaller, but I still have that. And so I had to comment because, when it comes.
Mm-mm. You're saying something interesting, and then you start breaking up. Miss Velasquez,
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
I don't know what's okay. So I'm not touching anything. So basically, reparations is a legal question. And
Yeah.
so a legal question has specific plaintiffs and defendants. So I put a comment just telling her, her talking points were irrelevant and
Mm,
that it's insulting just because you share an aesthetic with my FBA family. You don't get to tell them what to do. So I basically told her that she needs to handle.
mm. Boy, you keep breaking up, sis. You're spitting good, but you keep breaking up. You keep getting muted. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me get you off. But yeah, there was something going on. You kept getting muted, but I feel what you're saying. Much respect to you. Let's get the Iceman. The Iceman in the building.
Yo, what's up, man?
How you doing?
No, I just wanted to say hi.
Okay. Well, where you from, Iceman?
I'm around, but that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right. This dude at the house lonely, wanting to make friends. Okay. This is not bussy chat. This is not where you can just come and say hi to men. All right. Okay. Find you somebody, brother. Find you somebody.
When there is stank on the streets, there's only one man who will bring the heat.
Hey, Rootwork Jones, why you gotta split, sugar?
These musty jive turkeys think it's a game out here. I gotta get out here and show them I mean business. Can you dig it?
None of these smelly suckers can relax, because Rootwork Jones is back. Is the return of Dolomust, the Sultan of Stank. His mission? To turn Harlem into a musty mecca.
I'm going to plant a must bomb in Harlem. When it detonates, everyone in Harlem will be musty.
Rootwork Jones has to shake up the block. He has a limited time before the bomb drops.
Word on the street is Dolomus's men planted a bomb in a Cadillac in Harlem.
Thanks, Mama. Can Rootwork Jones find the bomb before it explodes?
Where is the Cadillac with the must bomb, sucker?
Or will the city go into musty mode?
There's a couple blocks over that way.
Rootwork Jones is behind the wheel, socking stanky suckers all in their grills. Come see Rootwork Jones in Musty Inferno. Go to rootworkstyle.com for more info. Sucker.